Mami Yotes. He's barred slain to me. Bli Musa Ev Shalavin Torah Kedosha. Amos Yekanis and Torah Vadim Shani Yodes at small vein Makir Kochos Nafsho. Taking it a step further. Person does not know himself and does not know the Kochos of his soul. Ev Shalo Lahovin Torah Kedosha. Not possible to understand the Holy Torah. Masam Mator Torah he bekochos nefesh. The entire commerce of the Torah is with kochos nefesh. The Torah and man are one. The in theory, when a person recognizes himself, knows himself. He knows the powers of his body and soul. He can also know from the powers of his soul the Torah. That's why we say the Avos, when we kind of call Torah Kula Achalonitno, because they were able, from their kochos nefesh, to come to the conclusions of the Torah itself. So obviously the idea is that there's a direct correlation between kochos nefesh and Torah. Obviously most people not love the Avos, but there is, if that's the case, so it's essential to understand kochos nefesh in order to understand Torah. The rich are not give more, and the poor less than half a shekel. It's a negative command for the Ashir Libli. Our boss maxes a shekel, even though he's rich, is not give more maxes a shekel. How can we understand this law? All mitzvahs of Torah are in order to deal with the Yetzirah. I like that way of phrasing it. Where the Yetzirah and the Yisrael are, that is where the mitzvahs of the Torah are. What kind of Yisrael is that for an usher not to give more? How is it possible that the mitzvah not to give is the tavlin of the Yetzirah? This would seem to be something which I guess a person's character is not to give. So I'm not sure exactly what he means by that. Let's just take the question as the first part of the question, because that's easier to understand. So this seems to be counterintuitive in terms of kochos nefesh. You want a person to give more tzedakah. Obviously, one can think of an answer, but we'll see what Rabbi Yerucham answers. After analyzing this, it seems this question comes about by us because we don't know ourselves. If we depict ourselves truthfully, how people collect money for the building Beis Hamikdash, and everybody is obligated equally. Yes, the only has to give a specific amount, it's a big nisayon for him. He has to sell everything he owns in order to gather together pruta for pruta to get the machzis shekel. Sometimes he'll have to curtail food from his mouth to the point that he can bear the amount of money which he's obligated to give. I'm sorry. The test of the rich person is much greater. Shigamhu says also it's got to give the same thing as a poor person. It could be degrading to him to have to give the same amount as a oppressed and poor person in the city. It's going to be embarrassed. He's going to blush from such an embarrassing thing. To be equal with the greatest paupers. The nature of a rich person is to control all of his environment. And indeed, rich people have taken the entire world for themselves. They're the heads, Baladeos, and the opinion makers. In all general questions. Anything they undertake, their hand is strong. This is already embedded in the laws of government. In many public questions, the opinion of the rich person is more has more weight than the opinion of a poor person. With what did these rich people conquer the marketplace of the world? Um, it's if not for, there's no other way they did it except with their riches. But peace or need same and scattering their largesse. The Malcolm Sheishva Lahem, let's say some place where it's worthwhile for them to give. So some years will call this They get more, not be in the city. That's how they get their power. It's and they really want to give. It's not doesn't contradict what actually says that rich people are miserly. The only miserly place they don't think they're going to get an advantage from the giving. About covet, but for honor, you knew lahem biyad. They have everything they have in a broad hand. It's a very difficult task for a rich person to give, like all the people in the city. Because I have a midas ashir, he can't display his power and wealth. So indicate that there's no distinction between the rich and the poor. Reality, there's no greater nisayon than this for the rich person. That should be equal in stature to the poor people. Ashir lo yarbeh. Certainly a rich person, his character is to jump to the front and show off his wealth. It says to him, don't give so much. Don't come with your riches. Be equivalent to the lowest stature in society. It's not just true about material possessions. Also in spiritual possessions. Wisdom is a great property, thing to own. And smart people are like rich people. And our daily lives testify this. Smart people, every place they live, have opinions. And the sphere of the world moves based on their say-so. A smart person wants to be above and beyond, separated from the masses, like a rich person. No less than him. That any question should be resolved through him. Shalmi says, you see a generation which Torah is precious, scatter Torah. You laugh, and if you see they're not good, Torah knowledge is not precious to them, kanes, keep it in. Kanes Kanes here, interesting shot. Rabbi Yerucham says it means because it's the only reason you would possibly spread Torah in a time and place where it's not appreciated. It's because you want to show off. You want to lord it over people. So that's what you're not supposed to do. Don't try and seize a place through your wisdom. And don't make it a hoe with which a plow with which you plow praise and honor. No matter what your wisdom, be in your own eyes like the simple folk. To kabel rak b'thlei lamda, only accept the wisdom in order to teach it. Preserve your wisdom like generous people preserve. Only give the wisdom to people to whom you have to give it, and to whom you're required to give it. Don't scatter it. Places where they don't need it. Zoya Soil Chacham is a warning for a Chacham. She's Zohar, Shemalas Chachmasa Lo Tigrum Lo, Sheyir Tziluchosh Ayado Shuk Olam. It's a warning to the Chacham that he should be careful with the advantage of his wisdom, that it should not cause him to want to acquire the world's marketplace, and and be different, be separated, elevated above the rest of the nation. Despite the fact that he's so wise, Yeshua Beinav Kakol Amoretz Pshutim, Amoretz Pshutim, should be equal in his own eyes to all simple, ignorant people. Shem Yodim Tzursa Dishmaitz, who don't know how to learn a sugya. But Moshe Mena Ksiv Vayischanan El Hashem, because Rashi Ein Chanun B'chol Makom El Losha Matnas Chinam. He said it was Mischanet Hashem because he was asking for a gift for naught. Even though they have good, even though he had credit, right? They only ask for a gift for naught. So the man, Shosh Shabbat Don Navim, going to be the master of all prophets. Because Shol Ach Lebakesh Dovar Ma, Haisa Bakosha So Kipakasha Sanim She'ein Lahem Uma. His request is like the poor people who have nothing, the same level. He didn't want to pull rank by his chachma. But the most difficult aspect of being wealthy. The person wants to take for himself. So it's going to say, he should not attempt to acquire anything through his chachma. In other words, his chachma should be purely for the purpose of chachma and not for any purpose of self-aggrandizing purpose. Mr. Parmipi Reb Naftali Amsterdam Zatzal, Talmud of Rabbi Yisrael, a rabbi of Greece Zatzal, Shnodalo Shishto L'Choshtar Agola. Reb Naftali Amsterdam became aware that his wife bought a lottery ticket. Because of Teichef, Siluk Nechosai, they ate him. He really wrote a renunciation of any property that might come in front of witnesses. But you're wrong because afraid maybe his wife won the lottery. In Paris, and even though his wife will own the goof, the title to the property, he'll have also the right to the fruits, which a husband has in his wife's property. And become rich. After Hamster was afraid he won't be able to successfully traverse the temptation of riches. Maybe he won't be able to fulfill all the mitzvahs and obligations which now that he's poor he doesn't have to do. Better not to fulfill his mitzvahs than being in soil whether you can fulfill them or not. If they came and present us the opportunity that all the gates of wisdom should be open to us. By Moshe Rabbeinu, could we have the? I'm not sure nowadays people don't have such a value for Chochma. I'm not sure that actually people would not say, "Well, let me think twice before you make me smart." But the Yerucham say about a different door, right? So it says, anyway, be able to have the calm consideration to perhaps not accept that gift. Doesn't want to be smart like Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu be deceived, no. But stand Moshe Panov. He hid his face. Moshe Hashem offered him Chochma. Tmuras Hashem Yabit. Moshe Rabbeinu Kosav al Zeh Siluk, he wrote a renunciation. But stand Moshe Panov. He didn't want it. When Shun the Moshe Shtar so is a mess. Moshe was on the level that in truth, Shachrei Korum Muso, despite all his loftiness, Slovikesh Kimat Naschinam, all he wanted was gifts for no merit. He didn't perceive himself as having merit. Who Pacha Bemes Chachma, Shem Lo Yamom Nisyoino. In fact, was concerned that he won't be able to be Oyim Ben Yisrael of the Chochma. But Moshe Reid Ha'ed Palm Penny Rasul Hashem Liros found men Rav. Go warn them not to come that close to the mountain. Because they shouldn't destroy their stature. Because they have a desire to God to see. If you can really they come close to the mountain. Even though they're higher my dragon. This is still before when the Choros were in charge. And the come before God to sacrifice Kamanos. should rely on their chashivas, their significance to go up. Certainly, maratz Torah lamed lonu b'aviyah b'azoroseh es hasiba shebishvilahu zoru. Why is the Torah telling us the reason why the warning was given? I mean, that's Rafami Menarav. The Torah is telling us what the what the source of this power is, from which the will to go up comes. Two reasons. Have a desire to see what they're not supposed to see. It's a great secret here in the characteristics of the soul. Very deep in the person's soul. So this power of aggrandizement can well up. Even Kohanim will come close to God. Chochmo, which is the loftiest level. Sham gufa pisgasa ramus yocholi valed ratzon zeh lios nivdal mikulam. There specifically, they can have this desire to be separated from everybody. Laros chashuv mehem, to look more significant than everybody else. Mizeh yirtzeh lios nivdal mikulam. As I just go back a line. Yeah, mizeh yirtzeh lakachas chachma zu ba'ad atzmo. He's going to take the chachma just for himself. Even the gilu shchina. To take for himself. Not relying on the significance. In this account they will want to go up. Because anyway they're elevated over the rest of the nation. Let's go do chachma. They shouldn't get covered in their chachma. A person gets wisdom from Hashem. He's a candidate, and he's going to go for a great son. To preserve the chachma, how the generous people preserve it. The vilti kachas mi chachma k'tzatz ba'atzmo. It shouldn't be anything but his own aggrandizement. And how does you check with that? If he's not asking to be separate from anybody else on account of his chachma. So to point out, I'm writing down an article about Reb Chaim Kanievsky, and you see that he had no concept of his own stature, and he didn't see himself as being anybody worthy of being separate than everybody else. He refused to sit on the mizrach in shul. He wore very simple clothing. His house was very simple, etc., etc. So the idea is that a person who really wants to use the chachma properly, a person can't see it as even not to make a parnasa, but that it's something which he's using in order, or he would want to get elevated and uplifted above other people as a result. How much more do we have in this piece? Let's try to finish it. Okay. Okay. Kasav Ramban, al dati hu nisayin mamish. With the mon. Hashem wanted to check you out. No. Bavura says it's talking about my Matan Torah. Yeah. No, maybe it's by the mon. I don't remember. Okay, but the Ramban writes that it's in Yisrael Mamish. Yomar Yinei Rotzah Kim Milasav Schem. Shema test you at Yishmu Mitzvosav Kiyotzim Milavam Kol Safek. He removed from the heart any doubt. Yitachen Shia and Yisrael Zebet Tova. This is an Yisrael not of hardship, but an Yisrael of, which comes from a good term. Kiyadon Pami Naseh Avdo Bavoda Kosha. Sometimes a master will check out a slave with hard work. But that's his will Lavaso to know if he'll tolerate the work because he loves the master. Pamitivimo, sometimes he'll do kindness with him. But that's imo sobetova asher su imo losif la'adonav gavod. Will he use the favor which is bestowed upon him to add service and honor to his master? So that's how I say when they say a person His praise of the view stands is Nisyanis. Shen Chabir Shen Kosh Baruch Menasosa. Everybody's tested. Hashem Menasosam Tieo Do Psuchalanim. The rich person is tested if his hand will be open for the poor people. And even as also the poor person is tested, and you serve, you can accept the suffering. Hashem did good for you. Also to test you. If you reciprocate the good which he did for you. Like it says, Hashem tigmu luzos. Okay, this is, in other words, in Parshas Hazinu, rebukes the Jews for their not lack of reciprocity. Ein Targum Unklus, Apostle said by Hazinu, Ama the Kavilu Araisa Velo Chakimu. Interesting. The nation which received the Torah, but did not become Chachamim as a result. It's Barim Bezesh, called the sin as Chacham and Torah Yisrael. So all the giving of Chacham and Torah time, it's only science, it's a test. Can you keep the Chachma? Same way you're supposed to keep riches. Moshe Ramin, the Kshonosnim Adam Ashus in Yisrael. So it's like we say when they give a person riches, it's a test. And the test, like we said, that the person who has possesses the wealth should not consider himself higher on account of their riches. Shouldn't be an arrogant rich man. And in his riches, this will be revealed both in how he spends money when it comes to Nuso, and how he curtails his spending. If he doesn't give because he doesn't have to give according to his opinion, he doesn't care if there's one less poor person in the world. That would be the negative restraint. And to give because who else can give? I have to give. I'm rich. That's a negative form of giving. So too we have a test with Chochmo as well. After all the wisdom, you should remain the same way you were. Like somebody who never learned. Don't let yourself worthy of honor because of your Chochma. The ultimate count used to say about this pasuk, a poor person will speak in forms of supplication. A rich person will speak in a brazen way. Shatana Kanash name. So the Kiddush says, the ultimate count, both of them are doing wrong. Okay, you're poor. They have to feel inferior and speak in supplications. You're the rich guy. Just because you're rich, you're allowed to speak in a bold, inappropriate, chutzpahdik way. This is a nice word. Because we understand riches, wealth, according to the Torah's parameters, there's no reason for the ani to have to supplicate. It's not less value than a rich person because he has nothing. So the riches of the rich person are not an adequate reason for his brazeness. Maybe that he should raise his voice more than a person who's a poor person. Madrega of King David, even though he was enriched, he said, he was still poor and impoverished. Like all the poor people in the world, his riches didn't make him go up to sit by the eastern wall. He can remain like before behind the stove. When a person's wealth is like that, he doesn't derive benefit for himself. So for sure, he's going to do what's required with the wealth. Then the person which God gave him this wealth. Harime Salant Tzali Omer, so said Yodani, Shoshisho Keneged Elef. I know that I have a head which is better than 1,000 other people combined. So what? Doesn't do me any good. So it means I have 1,000 times the obligation. After such a thought and awareness, there's no concern that he's going to try and conquer a certain place by Chochma. Torah Ashir Lo Yarbeh. And that is included in the Torah's wisdom, the warning, the Ashir Lo Yarbe, just like the Ani should not be in mind. Very nice piece.
Beautiful, beautiful piece.
Okay, Shkoyach.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Next week I won't be able to Tuesday. I have to speak about where we'll see if we can make another day.
Okay.
Okay?
Just text me.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye bye.